new babe. So what's good, TMG fam? It's your boy Ellen. I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel, man. Salute. So, yesterday I gave y'all a video of the honeymoons turned fatal, right? Today we're gonna stay along the same lines, maybe that vein, not necessarily honeymoons, but maybe relationship-wise, right? Shout outs to that chapter. I still pose the question to you guys: how well do you know the person you're with? How well? How sure are you of that person that you're with? I'm not trying to create any type of relationship quarrels, or I'm not trying to drive no wedge between anybody. I'm just posing a simple question. And you could say to yourself, I know my significant other, spouse, husband, boyfriend, or girlfriend very well. Cool. I just want to throw the question out there, man. See, can we start to prevent some of these situations where people find themselves, they've been dating this killer and didn't know it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to help prevent some of that. And that leads me into today's story, right? This is the story of Kyler Yost, all right? He lived in Kansas City and dated Kara Kopetsky, I think their name is, when all of a sudden she disappeared. Now, when she disappeared, all eyes were on Kyler. He would tell stories, lots of them, to lots of people about what happened. And we're going to get into the story now. So I'm anxious to see. Shout outs to everybody from the fam in Kansas City. And let's see what goes down in this story.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this old video we are traveling, as we always do, virtually, to a place called Misery. I think some people call it Missouri, though. There's a guy at the center of this story, and his name is Kyler Yost. I mean, I know it's Kyler Yost, but spelling him makes me dislike him already. But there will be no shortage on that in this one, so I guess I should cut him some slack. Kyler was the if I can't, then no one can kind of guy. He didn't want other people to have nice things or nice people. And funnily enough, it'll end up that way for Kyler. So let's give it a go.
I guess that's another trait we need to pay attention to in relationships, bro. The possessive ones, you know? And you'll hear people say that in their relationship. If I can't have you, no one can. Pay attention to those signs.
It is the mighty year of 2007 that we're heading off to location Belton. In Belton, like in many places, there was, and probably still is, a Popeyes. But at this particular one in 2007, 17-year-old Kara Kopetsky worked there. Kara was the daughter of Mike and Rhonda. She had a half-brother, 8-year-old Thomas, and was described as a firecracker, which is a great way to describe someone. She was pretty cool, smoked cigarettes, cooked class, much like myself, Pops College, but she was generally described as, just a lovely, fun person. However, she knew someone who was just, none of those things. Kara broke up with Kyler Yost, 1 year older than her, in April 2007, after being together on again, off again for roughly 9 months. Kara had enough. And I mean, I don't blame her.
Anybody sending you a picture standing in the bathroom like that, run away from them. Y'all in these bathroom selfies are killing me, man. Seriously, run away from them.
Kyler Yost, he was a lot of things. He played in a death metal band called Seraphim. Unfortunately, I don't have any clips to show you. Fortunately for you, because they were pretty good at taking, the late noughties band photos, though. And Kyler wasn't best pleased about being dumped by Kara Kopetsky. As Kara was leaving her job at Popeyes on the evening of the 28th of April 2007, Kyler forced her into his car, He then drove around town with a big old knife in his hand, saying he was going to slit her mother effing throat, sorry about the language, until after a while he finally calmed down and let her out of the car. Kara then, understandably, went to the police to report this nutjob.
Saturday, 4/28, kidnapped, restrained. 1 month ago, choked me. Had a knife in his hand and said, "I'm gonna slit your throat." March wouldn't let me out of my home because I'm unsure what he will do next because the abuse has gotten worse over time. I'm assuming this is her getting a restraining order.
She went straight away that Saturday, and 2 days later, on the 30th, Kara and her mother Rhonda, as Kara, was underage, filed for an order of protection against Kyler Charles Yost. He, couldn't have any contact with her at all. How well do you think that went? It was 4 days later, the 4th of May, that Kara was seen on security cameras at Belton High School. Now, she was seen leaving the school, and that was odd because this was shortly after 9 a.m. that morning, and after that, she disappeared. She never showed up for her job at Popeyes that evening, nor home, and her mother reported her missing after 5 p.m. on May the 4th. Now, at the time, it was like, did she run away? Was she just with friends? Friends maybe that her family didn't know of, but friends that her friends obviously didn't know of. Nobody knew, She had a paycheck she should have picked up on the 9th of May. No dice. So what did investigators do after that? Well, you can guess. You can even bet that they sure as shit wanted to talk with Kyler Yost. What'd he say? Okay, sure, he had broken the order of protection. On the 3rd of May, he spoke with her, he saw her that afternoon, and then spoke with her on the phone that evening. Teenagers, well. He would later say that when he spoke with her the day before, they had argued, and that she told him she had a friend coming to town, a friend she was planning on hanging with. He didn't see her, however, the following day, which was the 4th of May, the day she disappeared. He said that, that day, at around 11 a.m., she tried calling him, he missed it, and when he tried to call back, he got no answer. Now this was untrue, or at least to an extent, because when the police checked the phone records, the times were wrong. The calls Kyler claims, happened at 11 actually happened 2 hours earlier, shortly after 9 a.m., the same time this happened.
The cops have said you've been very cooperative.
Mm-hmm. I have been because I don't know anything about where she is or about what happened. I wish I did.
Did you threaten to slit her throat?
About what happened? What you mean? It should be just where she is. About what happened? Come on, man. They give you the signs. A lot of times they give you the signs. They just need the evidence because we all would have pointed straight to him. Anybody who knew. She just filed a restraining order, bruh. You knew that. You should have known they was gonna come right to you.
No, didn't.
What happened?
That didn't happen that night. That was before. He said that I was a suspect because of prior happenings, not because of anything that would point to me having anything to do with her disappearing now.
The search continued. On the 1st of June, the police searched her locker at high school, which seems, maybe they should have searched that a bit earlier. There, they found her debit card, but no activity on her bank account, regardless. And so it stayed for a few years.
A few years it took to get this fool? This is insane. I would have thought they'd have got him in a few weeks, few days, few years.
Which is kind of amazing, because over the next 4 years, 3 separate people would contact the police, telling the police that Kyler confessed to them that he killed Kara. Fucking 3 times, incredible. And he would do it again. Here, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Better slow my roll. In April 2010, so 3 years later, a bandmate of Kyler's, another rock star from Seraphim, contacted the police and told them that a year earlier, in 2009, Kyler told him he killed Kara. That fella, Nick Yates was his name, he said that, he was crashing with Kyler for a bit and Well, one night they stayed up drinking, and Kyler just told him that he killed Kara because she wouldn't love him anymore. He strangled her because he didn't want anyone else to have her. And this wasn't the only person Kyler told us to. About 9 months later, another person contacted the police. This is in January 2011, saying that Kyler knew exactly what happened to Kara because he did it. This was a woman named Caitlin Farris, and she was dating Kyler at the time. He told her a little bit more than he told his bandmate Nick Yates. He told Caitlin he watched her last breath and how he put her body in the woods. The FBI then got in on this and wired up Caitlin. Now this part is weird. A hidden camera was placed in Caitlin's car and an audio recorder also, hoping to catch Kyler's confession. So this day, early 2011, Caitlin and Kyler drove around Kansas City and then drove to where Kyler said Kara Kopetsky's body was.
Whoa, 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 wait a minute. This chick is gonna let him take her to the spot where he put the body? No, bro. Because what if he decides to leave you there? I'm just thinking. You know what I'm saying? Is the FBI following you, or did they just mic you up? And you digging into it can make him think. I'm just thinking about like movie wise. If you was watching this movie unfold and the cops wired you up, but they're not following you guys close by, and he's taking you there, and you're prying, you're asking questions. What's to stop him from saying, "Are you a cop? You a cop?" And then turning his attention to you and killing you. That's a very ballsy move by his new girlfriend. Number one, to stay with him. You know what I mean? Dime him out and just continue to try to help the police. I know her heart's in the right place, but that's very, very dangerous.
They're gobshite. They even brought a homemade Ouija board.
Oh my god. Just like felt her hand on my shoulder, and I heard she didn't say anything. It was just like her voice. Like she just just like or something. Like she just said just made a noise. It was her voice. I promise I will come back and see you, Hogan. Because I killed her and left her out in the wilderness alone. For her spirit just to roam the forest. This really turns you on that I killed a girl.
It doesn't really turn me on.
Yeah, well, you're saying all that bullshit there.
No.
Just because you're trying to get me to confess.
No.
Yeah.
No.
He really thinks that he is hot shit.
For reports of a confession and a witness who says he was ignored by Belton police.
Serious missteps on this investigation.
I just don't know what Belton thinks that they're doing.
It would be 6 months later that another witness would contact the police.
Whoa. So the confession wasn't enough? The confession wasn't enough? It took another 6 months, bro?
And this would actually lead to Kyler's arrest. Just not for,
These police reports led to today's guilty plea for choking and striking a new girlfriend. In them, the victim's mother told police drew a pentagram on the girlfriend's forehead and warned her he'd seen bodies hidden in barrels of acid or where pigs would devour the dead.
In August 2011, Candice Matthews had been dating Kyler. She had been in an on-again, off-again relationship with him. She was pregnant, and she told the police Kyler had tried to kill her by strangling her to death. Exactly like previous witnesses said he did to Kara. Not just once, by the way. She said he was insanely jealous and boasted of murdering previous girlfriends and that he would do the same to her. He also murdered her kittens in front of her by drowning and smashing. He should be drowned and smashed. Kyler was arrested and pled guilty. And none of this was lost on the family of Kara or the community.
You pled guilty. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us what happened in the Kara Kopetsky case?
I didn't know there was a case.
The judge specifically said don't kill any more cats. The allegation was that you killed cats. Is that true?
There would actually be a total of 7 different people who told the police that Kyler told them, confessed that he strangled Kara Kopetsky to death. Wonder how they cracked this case. In November 2011, Kyler was arrested yet again, this time for stealing tattoo supplies from a tattoo parlor.
How does he keep getting off, bro? I know evidence, you need evidence, but you got what? How many confessions now? How many what more do you need to see this fool is on a path of destruction? And before he kills somebody else, how about we just lock him up for a while until we can sort this whole thing out? Maybe some time behind the wall and make him confess. Or at least stop or save somebody else's life.
Where Kyler had apprenticed. The previous charges, the assault, animal abuse, and theft, wouldn't really go anywhere. Because, let me tell you, in February 2012, Kyler was arrested for drugs trafficking. And for that, he was sentenced to 4 years. The search for Kara continued.
I mean, if we can have her back alive, I mean, I would consider that to be a miracle.
Kyler would be questioned in prison. Well, questioned, but wouldn't answer. Kyler was released from prison in February 2016. And then another woman would go missing. On the 8th of September 2016.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh, this is what I'm talking about, bro. Like, what more? How many more people has to die?
A party was held in Grandview. On the 8th of September 2016, a party was held in Grandview, Missouri. Once again, really just on the outskirts of Kansas City, near Belton. At that party was 21-year-old Jessica Runyons. Also at this party was Kyler Yost. Kyler was a childhood friend of Jessica's fella, and Jessica and Kyler were last seen leaving the party together that night. The next day, the 9th of September, Jessica was supposed to meet her mother for a doctor's appointment, and she never showed. A missing person report was then filed, and the police investigation began. And they determined that Jessica and Kyler were seen leaving together at about 11 p.m. in Jessica's car, which was a black 2012 Chevy Equinox. Neither them nor the car were seen again. Not only that, people who were there, witnesses, said that at the party, Kyler was down in booze left and right. He was getting pissed, and he was also getting pissed off at basically everybody at the party. He was acting like super aggressive and shit. Also super possessive towards Jessica, who had a fella. On September 10th, so the early morning after she was reported missing, at 1:40 a.m., there was a fire, and the Kansas City Fire Department were on the scene. It was Jessica's black Chevy Equinox, burnt to shite. That same day, hours after Jessica's burning car was found, someone else contacted the police. This guy was named Jessup Carter. He was Kyler's half-brother. And once again, we have another witness to Kyler. He told the police he was there when he saw Kyler set fire to Jessica's car. And he also told the police that Kyler had told him he had strangled Jessica and dumped her body in the woods. He said that during the car setting on fire business, Kyler, dumb dildo, had burned himself, so Jessup took him to his place to heal. And that's when Jessup contacted the police. The next day, the police rocked up to Jessup's mobile home and took Kyler in for knowingly burning Jessica's car. He was arrested, but there was still no sign of Jessica, and Kyler was not talking.
Kyler, where's Jessica?
I have no idea, sir.
What happened to your face? Did you get burned?
What happened to your face?
Got him! Did you kill Jessica? Did you?
Got him. He wasn't so busy, killing people. Stand-up career for you, my friend.
Maybe we can talk to you, kind of just anything about Kyler, why you did, in fact, call the police and tell them where he was. But a lot of people in Kansas City are at least kind of crediting you for getting him caught for the allegations of what he faces. Do you have anything to say to those folks, to the family of Kara or Jessica?
We just want Cara and Jessica, we want those families to have some justice served. And if he's found to be guilty, you know, we want them to be, we just want them to.
Is that the brother? I'm thinking that may be Kyler's brother. Either way, if it is, that's very stand up and noble for him to do that and to say that for the family, to pretty much put your own blood out there, bro. I know that couldn't have been easy for him to do. You know what I'm saying? It's tough to turn your brother in, but he did the right thing if that's his brother. Kyler must have somebody on the inside, meaning a relative that's a police chief, judge, prosecutor, defense attorney, something that allows him to keep slithering away like this. I've never seen nothing like it, bro. Like, all signs point to him, but they still can't nab him. This is insane.
I feel better that he's finally put away.
It was just a matter of time before, because Kyler isn't going to change.
Jessica Runyons has been missing for 6 months.
It was 7 months later, in April 2017, that a mushroom hunter out on the fields of rural Cass County, Missouri, found remains. He contacted the police, and the very next day, a second set of remains were found, older than the first. They were identified as Jessica Runyons and Cara Kopetsky. They had been dumped right next to each other.
Breaking news at 6 o'clock. Law enforcement sources confirming to 41 Action News human remains found in Cass County belong to missing woman Cara Kopetsky. Kopetsky was last seen back in 2007. 2 sets of human remains were discovered in a Cass County field back in April. One set already identified as another missing woman, Jessica Runyons.
2 families that have been waiting for years for some sort of resolution, some answers.
Behind bars, the man linked to 2 women who disappeared nearly a decade apart, now charged with both of their murders.
Kyler Yost was charged with 2 counts of murder on October 5th, 2017. He'd only been happily yapping away at it, for more than a decade. Who could have known?
Cases like this, sometimes you wait because you hope that time is your friend and that case might get better. If you're too quick on the trigger and you file charges and you can't make that, and that person gets acquitted, what good have you done?
According to court documents, over the years since Cara went missing in 2007, Yost confessed to at least 6 people that he had choked Cara to death and dumped.
Listen, I was able to breathe a sigh of relief right there, exhale, man. I know the family's got to. Now they can start the grieving process.
Her body in the woods. Those people told police. So that raises the question, why didn't police charge Yost with murder sooner?
That's a judgment. It's always going to come down to, is that person that's saying they heard this, is that person credible?
Don't say that, is that person credible, because you had persons, put an S at the end of that, for how many people actually came forward to state that. Plus you had him on tape confessing. So who's more credible than the person confessing? Him, Kyler. What more do we need? This is not rocket science, bro.
Now, Jessup Carter, who was, the witness to Kyler setting Jessica's car on fire, and also allegedly Kyler told him he killed Jessica Runyons, he would be, an important witness, obviously, as you can imagine, in the upcoming trial for Kyler. Upcoming would never come for Jessup. Jessup was in jail on charges of fleeing a traffic stop. A traffic stop, by the way, from the day before Kyler was arrested, so on the 10th of September. What happened was that the morning after Kyler set the car on fire, something Jessup witnessed, basically, Jessup and Kyler were driving around. Jessup was driving erratically. He was pulled over. And Jessup just legged it from the scene. This was before, Jessup called the police saying what he had seen Kyler do. So Kyler was in the car just there, and apparently Kyler pissed his pants out of the side of a cop. Again, probably because he had just set fire to a car and killed Jessica Runyon. Something he would be arrested for the next day. I feel like it's just important for you to know that he pissed his pants. Anyways, Jessup was in jail because in the summer of 2018, he also set a big old house on fire. Yeah, it's pretty serious. It's a big one. As you can see from these images, Jessup had a change in diet. And on the 19th of September 2018, Jessup was found dead in his cell. It's understood that he took his own life. This was quite a blow to the prosecution, you know, that was mounting up for the trial, and there would be a number of delays. Kyle's attorney tried to get him ruled incompetent to stand trial. He was ultimately ruled competent, you know, and these were findings the defense objected to. And in April 2021, the trial began. The defense alleged that Jessup Carter, not Kyler, was actually the one responsible for both Kara Kopetsky's death and Jessica Runyon's death, as he had a few hours unaccounted for at the time Jessica went missing. Now, of course, you know, Jessup being dead makes this a hell of a lot easier. The defense actually tried to point the finger at a few people. Jessup also left a coded note in his cell when he died. Something the defense wanted to bring in as evidence, you know, hoping that it would magically say he had killed Jessica and Kara. The judge wouldn't allow it because it was coded. Apparently there was like 11 different meanings for what it said. They also took aim at what they called a mismanaged investigation, and that no actual physical evidence pointed to Kyler as the culprit.
None of them are supported by physical evidence. There's not one hair, one drop of blood, or one fingerprint in this case connecting Kyler to either.
We gotta sit down and talk about lawyers one day, bro. How could you morally, ethically, I get it, I just don't know if I could do it, bro. You know what I'm saying? To take on a client like this dude here and possibly get him off, and if he gets off and kills somebody else, how do you sleep at night? It's different.
These homicides.
During the trial, nearly all the witnesses came forward telling of Kyler's various confessions. These were all well used by the prosecution, as well as the secret recording made a decade previous.
After he killed Jessica, he went back to this spot, his spot. You stumped Jessica's body in the same woods that he said he threw Kara all those years before.
And Kyler's jealousy, possessiveness, if I can't have you, then nobody can, type head. Kyler Yost himself also took the stand.
So you want the jury to believe that as you sit here right now, that the man that is dead is the one that's responsible for this, Kyler?
I think that's why he killed himself.
It's really convenient, isn't it, that he killed himself?
I don't think anything about the situation is convenient.
Well, it's convenient for you because you get to sit up here and say, my brother did it, and your brother's not here to speak for himself, right?
I think he killed himself because I said I wasn't guilty.
Sure. And when you found out, actually, that Jessup had killed himself, your response was, I don't fucking care, right?
I did not say those exact words, but I think I did say that he deserved a lot worse than to be able to take the easy way out.
Sure. And you know what's interesting about this too is not only is this the first time that we're hearing about Jessup, quote unquote, being with you on 5/4/2007, but you were interviewed so many times over the years, weren't you?
I was.
And you wait until this very moment to tell your version of the truth.
No, I told Miss Hastings years ago.
I understand that. And you know what's interesting about it?
In fact, that's why she's doing my case for free now, because she believes in my defense.
How thoughtful of her. This has been so hard for you, hasn't it, Kyler?
It has been.
You were the target of this investigation for, quite frankly, almost 14 years, right?
Yes.
People were putting signs outside of your apartment complex saying, we know what you did, right?
Yes.
And testified about how you were acting on the night that you were pulled over. You remember his testimony?
I do, ma'am.
And you have peed yourself. That wasn't me making that up, Kyler.
You reiterated it several times with several different witnesses. The jury remembers.
Well, they should. Because you peed your pants, because you were scared about getting pulled over. You didn't get burned until you went and literally doused Jessica's car in gasoline, and that gasoline flashed in your face, right?
No.
And that gasoline flashed in your face, and it burned your face, it burned your hair, and it burned your hands, didn't it?
The burn barrel, yes.
Right. And you actually tell the jury that it hurt.
It did hurt.
You know what else would hurt? To have the life strangled out of you, right?
I believe that is true, yeah.
So were you asking for some kind of empathy because you burned yourself when you were torching Jessica's car?
No.
So you would rather sit in jail and be charged with 2 counts of murder in the first degree than to tell law enforcement that your brother allegedly was the one that did this?
I knew that I was getting blamed, and I knew that I'd have my chance to speak my piece right here on the stand, and that's
So
what I did.
You wait until a criminal trial, until a jury is literally sitting here deciding your fate to tell your truth.
I mean, this is the only chance I have, right?
When it went to the jury...
Yo, Kyler is a piece of work. Straight up piece of work, bro. I don't believe nothing he just said at all. Like she said, everything is convenient. Everything is straight up convenient for him.
They deliberated on it for about 2 days before returning their verdict. They found Kyler Yost guilty of voluntary manslaughter in the death of Kara Kopetsky and guilty of second-degree murder in the death of Jessica Runyons. On the 16th of April 2021, the jury recommended a sentence of life in prison on the murder conviction and a sentence of 15 years for the manslaughter charge. He should be eligible for parole.
Juror number 1, is this your verdict? Juror number 2, is this your verdict?
Nice try, Kyler, but it ain't work.
Juror number 3, is this your verdict? Juror number 4, is this your verdict? Juror number 5, is this your verdict? Juror number 6, is this your verdict? Juror number 7, is this your verdict? Juror number 8, is this your verdict? Juror number 9, is this your verdict? Juror number 10, is this your verdict?
And we're just thankful. We're thankful to be where we are today, because there were days where we didn't know if our girls would ever be found. And we're just so thankful that they were found, and we have them back now.
And after almost a decade and a half, the case of Kyler Yost comes to a close. Now, the actual sentencing won't be until June, but I mean, I'd say it's very likely that the judge will take the jury's recommendation from the menu. So that's that, all about Kyler Yost and what a busy little bee he's been. Quite, as I like to say, real piece of shit. I mean, his name, he sounds like a Star Wars character, and not a very good one. It makes sense though, because his head is certainly in another galaxy. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.
Bro, if these type of stories don't hit home to you, man, you don't have a pulse, bro. I don't even know what to say after something like that, man. This dude got away with it for years upon years after people coming to, you know what I'm saying, witnesses saying they have confessions from him. Then they got him on tape. Like, we probably could have saved a life, man, if we'd have figured out a way a lot sooner, bro. Could have saved that other poor girl's life, you know? But now we have 2 families without children because of this maniac, you know? I have no remorse for him, bro. Rot where you rot. It is what it is. Y'all get at me in the comment section, bro. Till the next reaction, I'm gone. Peace.